Alright, the force developed by the diffusing molecules in unit area of the diffusing medium is known as diffusion pressure. Clear? Suppose this is the diffusing medium. Clear? This is the diffusing medium, and a large number of diffusing molecules or diffusing particles are present. Clear? And when these diffusing molecules or particles will move along this direction, they need to use some force, isn't it? Unless or until a force acts on a body or a material particle, it cannot move. So definitely here also in the process of diffusion, where there are movement of solute molecules, some force must be acting in the solute molecules. Clear? And if we consider the force acting on unit area, like suppose in this area, clear, there are certain number of molecules or particles. So the collective force, clear, developed by all the molecules present in unit area of the diffusing medium is known as diffusion pressure. Pressure also, otherwise you know what is pressure? Force acting on unit area. Clear? Force acting on unit area. So if we consider all the molecules in the diffusing medium, that is the collective force or the thrust. And if we consider the force acting on unit area of the diffusing medium by the diffusing particles or molecules, it will be called or it will be known as diffusion pressure. Understood? So diffusion pressure is the force developed by the diffusing molecules in unit area of the diffusing medium. Clear? Now in another term, diffusion pressure deficit. Clear? Deficit means less. Clear? Deficiency. Fine. Suppose we are considering two area. This is, look here, this is the diffusing medium. We are considering this is an area and this is another area. More number of solute particles or solute molecules are present here and less number of solute molecules are here. So definitely the diffusion pressure at this area will be more because more number of molecules or particles are present, and the diffusion pressure in this area will be less because less number of molecules are present. Yes or no? Diffusion pressure depends on the total force produced by the diffusing molecule in an unit area. So if the number of molecules are more in a given area, the diffusion pressure will be more in that area, and if the diffusing particles are less in one area, the diffusion pressure will be less in that area. Clear? Now the difference in the diffusion pressure between these two areas is known as diffusion pressure deficit. Clear? Difference in the diffusion pressure between these two areas is known as a diffusion pressure deficit. Difference in the diffusion pressure. Now this diffusion pressure deficit or DPD, clear, determines the direction of diffusion, means in which direction the diffusion will occur. Definitely it will occur from an area of a higher diffusion pressure to lower diffusion pressure. So it determines the direction of the diffusion, and it also determines the rate of diffusion, means how fast the diffusion will take place. Greater is diffusion pressure deficit, faster will be diffusion. Lesser is diffusion pressure deficit, slow will be the process of diffusion. So this is diffusion pressure deficit and the importance of diffusion pressure deficit. The diffusion pressure deficit, number one, determines the direction of diffusion, and number two, the rate of diffusion. imbibition. So imbibition is the process bringing about the absorption of moisture or water vapor at the surface of the dead, clear, this is important, dead plant or animal tissue. You must have experienced that the wooden doors and windows become tight during rainy season, isn't it? In summer season, in dry season, they are normal, they are not very tight. But in the rainy season, when the humidity of the air is very high, then the wooden doors and windows become tight. Why? Because the doors and windows are made of dead plant cells. Clear? The wood consists of dead plant cells. Now these dead plant cells will absorb moisture from the humid air, clear, and get slightly swollen. So the doors and windows become tight, clear. So this is the process of, and this occurs in dead animal tissues also, like the leather goods, shoes, the leather bags, clear, also become soggy or by the absorption of water. So this is the process of absorption, imbibition. Now imbibition also is important for plant. You know that seeds are the dry structure, and the seed consists of keeping the example of a bean seed or gram seed in your mind. You know that the seed consists of an outer covering which is known as seed coat, and inside the seed coat there are cotyledons and embryo. Clear? The cotyledon and seed coat are the non-living part of the seed, whereas the embryo is the living part. Okay, the process of germination is possible only by the activation of the living cells of the embryo. Clear? The seeds are known as the dormant stage in the life cycle of plant body. What is dormancy? Is the temporary resting phase in the life cycle of a living organism is known as dormancy. So the embryo, the living embryo, do not show any activity of life, because it is in a sleeping state, clear, resting state. Okay, the embryo become active only after it absorbs sufficient amount of moisture. The dry cell of the embryo, clear, become turgid, and then it starts its biological activity. But the embryo is present inside the seed, in the inner part of the seed. Clear? The water can reach in the living cells of the embryo only after passing through or moving through seed coat and cotyledon. Seed coat and cotyledon, as I told you, are non-living structures. They consist of dead cells. So here, soaking of the seed, you know that if some dry seeds are put in water, it absorbs water, clear, and gets soaked. The soaking of the dry seed is possible by the absorption of the water by the dry cells or dead cells of the cotyledon and seed coat. Clear? So here also what process is acting? Imbibition. Clear? So, soaking of the dry seed is possible only by the process of imbibition. So, when the dry seeds are put in water, first imbibition occurs, or through imbibition water moves through cotyledon, seed coat and cotyledon, and ultimately reaches to the embryo. Clear? So, this is another process.